Welcome to the Honey Roads. I'd like to start this episode with a poem by Rainer Rilke. This is called I Believe. I believe in what I have felt, but not yet spoken. I want to free the dream that waits within me, so that what I have longed for may spring forth. This is what I have to say. May what I do flow from me like a river. No forcing, no holding back, the way it is with children. Then, in the swelling and ebbing currents, the deepening tides, moving out, returning, I will sing life as no one has before me. You see, I want a lot. Maybe I want it all. The darkness of each sunfall, the shimmering light of each sun's ascent. So many are alive today who do not seem to care. Casual, indifferent. They walk through this world unmoved, untouched. I am alive. It's not too late to open my heart by plunging into it, drinking in the life that reveals itself in the silence there. The man had a way with words. And this episode today is here, on the edge of that river he spoke of, on the edge of every river. On a map, this river has been named, but it's not her real name. I'm sure some map makers are poets, able to hear the voice of the world around them, but I don't think many are. And it's my experience that this river, her name is a song, and she sings it in laughing rivulets, in sun sparkling on water. She is so much older than you or I. She flows the color of honey in sunlight because of the minerals in the rocks in the riverbed. And her wisdom is sweet. The wisdom of the waters is always sweet. And water is a great song in this world. Science tells us that 71% of this planet is covered with water. And most of the water on this planet is undrinkable. If I had 100 glasses of water to represent all of the water on the planet Earth, 97 of those glasses would be salt water, unusable for human beings, leaving just 3%, 3 glasses of fresh water. Of those 3 glasses, 2 of the glasses are frozen in the great ice at the north and south poles of the world, leaving 1%, 1 glass of water for everything that human beings do with water, for all of the water that every one of the billions of us drinks every day. Water is magic. Water is memory. Since the beginning of the world, there has been no new water made on this planet. All of the water here has been here since the beginning of the world. It's all that there is. And it's what makes you and I who we are. Our bodies are about 60 to 70% water. Your lungs are 90% water. Your brain is 50% water. Water is life. Our ancestors, yours and mine, knew none of this, but they knew how to honor and revere the waters of the world. In the Celtic traditions, water was understood to be a between place. It was the place that was a gateway to the other world. Here on the shore, you cannot tell where the land ends and the water begins. With the mist over the river, you cannot see where the air ends and the water begins. And the between places are always the places of power. They are always gateways to brand new beginnings, to gentler endings. In the Celtic traditions, there are many stories about water. And it was a long-standing tradition that you would go to the waters and offer something of great value to the waters as a way of connecting with the divine. It was common for gold, for jewels, for precious metals to be offered in prayer to the waters. I have no gold. I have no precious metals. But I have things that are precious to me. And this is what I bring down to the waters. What I'd like to offer the river today is my gratitude and a story. One of my favorite water stories in the Celtic traditions is a story of wisdom. It has been told in many ways by many storytellers. This is my favorite version. In times long ago, there was a great king. His wealth was vast, his power impressive, and he was pleasing to look upon. One would think that a human being with so many gifts would have an open heart Not this king. This king, his heart was harder than the rocks in the riverbed. He would have everything he wanted his own way. When it came time to choose a wife, it was Boand he chose. She was so beautiful. She came from a good family, and so she was his wife. And at first she marveled at her good fortune to be married to such a fine king. But in no time at all, she began to realize that her husband, the king, he was a miser. Scraps from the table were never given to the poor. They were fed to the pigs to fatten them up. Guests were not allowed underneath his roof. They were kept to outbuildings with no fire and no light. And because of the way his mind works, he discovered that the river flowing nearby was full of all of the wisdom of the world, and it had to be for him alone. And so what he did, of course, is he had the water in the river, all of its wisdom, diverted to a well. And the well he covered over and locked. None were allowed to take freely from the wisdom of the world. All who wished even a taste had to pay gold. Even his bards were not allowed, and they were supposed to be the ones who would sing wisdom into and of the world. Boan was fascinated with this. One day she said to him, "What is it like? The well of all the wisdom of the world." And he said, "Hush, woman, it's not for you to know. Attend to your weaving." But the question stayed with her. Time passed. A day comes where the king is off to a fair to be honored. His wife says, "May I join you?" He says, "Hush, woman, your place is here under this roof. Go, tend to your loom." If she heard the words, "Hush, woman," even one more time, she felt she would go mad. And so Boan left the castle. She comes down into the green land to the edge of the river, and she can see where it winds into the hidden place. Boan goes and sits beside it. She's brought his key. She unlocks the well, and she drinks of the water. And the wisdom of the world, the wisdom of this river, is the sweetest thing she's ever tasted. She sits 3 days and nights, marveling at the wisdom of this world. And at the end of those 3 days and nights, she makes a decision. And the decision is, it should be owned by all, held, locked away by none. And knowing a little bit of the ways of magic, Boan walked 3 times against the sun around the magical well, and this caused the well to break. The waters rush out and they join the already flowing river, and all of the wisdom of the world begins to flow back into it. She runs alongside it, laughing wildly. Just as the king comes home, he says, "Woman, what have you done?" She says, "I have righted a great wrong." And with that, Boan changed into an otter and dove into the river. From that time on, she has swum in the wisdom of the world, and the world is drunk from the sweet wisdom of the river. What I'd like to do to end this episode of stories of sweetness, of rivers, is I'd like to simply make an offering to the river. I brought down something precious to me. Every year I set up an altar that has honey on it. And part of a regular practice is speaking to myself, to the divine, about the sweetness of the lessons of my life. And each year I take the honey and offer it to the river as a way of giving thanks. And so today, I'm just going to play a little bit and offer the sweetness that life has brought to me to this sweetly flowing river. And so we come to the end of this episode of the Honey Roads, with the stars dancing above, the earth dreaming below, and the sweetness of the song of the river. We've done this entire episode using a mic simply because the sound of the water is too hard to compete with. But just for this last bit, I've come back to the microphone in the camera just to have that sweet sound in the background. And I'd like to end this episode with a lovely quote from John O'Donohue, where he said, "I would like to live as a river flows, carried by the surprise of its own unfolding. May you be carried by the surprise of your own unfolding until we meet again next time."